We continue our coverage with this important question. Now that they've been reunited with their family, how should Jaycee and her little girls re-enter society? Joining us from Kansas City this morning, forensic psychologist Brian Russell. Brian, good morning.
Morning, Maggie.
We have these three young ladies, Jaycee, who was kidnapped when she was just 11 years old, her two daughters, who are now 11 and 15, and were born into this situation and have never known anything else. Everyone wants to picture them now living happily ever after with their real family, but it's not that simple, is it?
It's not, and you know, there's a tremendous hope angle to this story, Maggie. Hope for everyone who has a missing loved one out there, that they can be found alive, and hope for Jaycee and her kids. But we have to be realistic about what it is that we're hoping for. Obviously, we're not going to be able to go back and restore to them these years that they've lost. So the question is, what kind of quality of life can we help them to achieve going forward? And I do believe that they all can find joy in this life and that we can restore some semblance of a normal life to them. But it's going to be a long, hard road because we have trauma issues. We've got all the reintegration issues that we're talking about. And we may even have some of these issues that people have talked about a lot on television the last few days about having these bonds that they've formed maybe with the Garridos.
That's right,
people
Brian.
Talk about
in fact,
people talk about Stockholm Syndrome.
Jaycee's stepfather told me that she feels guilty because she bonded with him, and in fact that when he was arrested, she cried. And the little girls now are angry that their father is in jail. How do you begin to explain that? How do you begin to deal with that?
Well, fortunately for America and unfortunately for the people who need treatment in this case, it's really sort of unprecedented. So in order to give you a good victim-specific prognosis and treatment plan, I'd have to see the victims and examine them and assess them. But let me tell you where to start. You start with letting them know that they're safe. It's really too soon for them to have fully wrapped their minds or even around that yet. Then that they're loved unconditionally and that they don't have to feel guilty for anything that they did or didn't do while this was going on. It's too early, I think, for people in the media to be diagnosing the Stockholm Syndrome.
Right.
That's possible that she's developed an affinity for them and the kids have too. But what's more likely, I think, is that they just resigned themselves to the fact that they were never going to get out of this thing and just tried to make the best of it, which is a different thing from liking the captor.
All right. Brian Russell, we do appreciate your insight this morning.
Thanks, Maggie.
You're welcome.